Good morning. Welcome to Community Voice. I'm your host, Keith Harris. I want to thank everybody. Good morning.
So Keith, what happens when you stop like that? You want to thank everybody for joining us today? Was your voice too high pitched? What was going on right there?
High pitched. So I apologize for that. Good morning. Welcome to Community Voice. I'm your host, Keith Harris. I want to thank everybody for joining us this morning. Got to remember my radio voice, man. You know.
So you have two different voices?
Yeah.
I use the same voice all the time. It's just me.
You and Bishop Hines.
Oh, stop. There you go. There you go. How was your evening?
So it wasn't bad. Wasn't bad.
Watch some LA football last night?
Yeah, I watched a little football last night. Boy, if you're a gambler, Miami is not supposed to beat LA in LA, but that did happen last night. So, and spoiler alert, the Bucks they play their first tournament game tonight, but there'll be no Dame Lillard. He's on the concussion protocol. And let me do this cleanup on aisle 3. Yesterday, I said that Judith Jamison was 91. Actually, she was 81 when she passed, so I apologize for that. She was 81. The work that we did, we saw with Alvin Alley Dance Company. And if you go to New York on, I want to say either 5th Avenue. No, it would be 5th Avenue. Yeah. Going this way, you can see their dance studio. It's in what they call Hell's Kitchen, which is part of Manhattan going towards the Hudson River, and it's all glass, and so you get a chance to really get in and watch them rehearse, dance, teach, train. So if you ever get a chance, that's a nice little visit to see the Alvin Alley dance troupe there. So good morning, Debo Carvey. Good morning, everybody. Phone lines open 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. I was listening a little bit to Michelle's program. I am not a gambler, so let me just tell people, and it's not, I have no moral opposition to gambling. It is just not anything I understood, nor that I did well. I don't know how gamblers do well because it is a game of chance. But gambling is a game of strategy? Strategy and chance. Okay. You a gambler? You're not old enough to get in casinos, so where you gambling? Street gambling? You shoot some dice? You shoot dice? They used to be, for all you old school players, triple OG. Y'all remember back in the day, we used to play 4-5-6 here. You play 4-5-6? You know about 4-5-6? Yeah, with the 3 dice, yep. And I understand bar dice. I don't know, man. But I know they be tearing up bars, man. And you see people doing the bar. I don't understand bar dice. Yeah. And I don't know how that works, man. But yeah, but they, be places you go. So it's interesting. I don't have a problem, though, with people gambling. Everybody got I use the word vice, those things that they enjoy. People enjoy gambling, and I'm not. That's why I've never been to Vegas. They say, there's great shows, there's great food, but, you go to Vegas to gamble. I think that's why you go to Vegas. They got some snow the other day. So, hey, look at that. None of this climate change. Keep moving. But no, so I don't. But it was interesting. The sister called in, and she was saying that she said the lottery, I think she was saying that the lottery was somehow black folks did it. I know we played the numbers back in the day, and we get the lotteries, but she pointed out that nobody in Milwaukee has ever hit the big jackpot. Well, I mean, you that would be most cities, towns, villages where nobody has won the major jackpot. But my late friend Bobby Crimes used to say the Lord knew what he was doing when he let him win the lottery, because I think I probably survived Carvey maybe a month, just trying to figure out how to spend all that money. But trust me, it can be spent. it can be spent. The number of lottery winners who end up broke, because so let me ask you this, Carvey. What's the first thing you do if you win the $200 million lottery? What's the first thing you do? Do what?
Like literally the first thing I'll do?
Yeah.
First thing I'll buy?
No, first thing you do.
First thing I'll do is make sure everybody know I won.
How would you do that?
First I'll track who know that I won.
Uh-huh.
And I'll keep track of them.
Uh-huh.
And then after I know they know I won, I won't tell nobody else.
You won't tell anybody else. I'm gonna tell you the first thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna change my number. Now I've had this phone number for almost 40 years, but I'm gonna change this number. This number get changed. So that's the first thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna change the phone number. Yeah, that'd be the first thing. Because trust me, you're gonna have some relatives that you didn't even know you had. And I always find it amazing that people think that if you win the lottery, somehow you're supposed to do something for them. And I don't quite understand that, because can I ask the question, what have they ever done for you? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Who did the was it the lottery, the ticket? Was that Chris Brown or was that T.I.?
I think that was T.I.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So 414-444-5250. I don't know if there's a conspiracy that black people don't win. For a long time, people were saying it looked like only Latinos were winning in California. So, but it's a game of chance. I mean, I don't, when you look at, especially when those jackpots, get like 300 million, 400 million, your chances of winning drops precipitously. Yes, sir. Can't hear you, man.
With the casino gambling, I feel that it's more strategy than
you think it's more strategy?
Yeah, for sure.
So what's the strategy with a slot machine? Because the only thing I saw, the one time I ever played slots in my life, I wasn't hitting, and I must have maybe 4, 5, 6 times. And as soon as I got up from that machine, you should have saw people running over there trying to get on that machine, man. I don't know. Someone said that the psychology around gambling isn't the winning, it's the almost winning, right? That's the thrill. But man, I can think of 100 million ways to waste money. Think of 100 million ways to. But there's people, man. That gambling piece is, it is serious. And now, Debo and I, we were talking about that. You can bet on anything. Legally, you can bet on anything. There was bets going on during the election, and so if you took Trump, you got paid. So it's amazing. Yes, sir.
Wayne and your mic, brother. Why don't you in the mic?
So if you can bet on things like the election,
like sport games and like all sorts of things, would you still take that serious, like how you would if you couldn't bet on it?
Yeah, I think to some folks it is. I got a guy I've known all my life, and this dude will bet on anything. This dude bet on anything. It just like it, and like a lot of things in life, it can become an addiction. And and so that's the real issue. But gambling, here's this big word I'm going to use, is ubiquitous. It is everywhere.
Yeah.
So Debo, we asked the question, man. You hit the big lottery. What's the first thing you're going to do?
Change my phone number.
He said that too.
Yep, change your phone number.
You got to change the number, because once the name get out there, it's over.
I think Wisconsin is a state where you can you can be anonymous, or do you have to be public in Wisconsin?
I'm not certain, because I haven't been in that seat. But
as 330 million other Americans have been in that seat.
Right. You got to change the number.
Yeah,
you got to change the number
first,
man.
And you may just want to go get your room somewhere, because If you don't answer the phone, they coming by.
They said the first thing you should do, beyond our guidance of changing the number, is get with a financial advisor. So
That's after you
Change the number. Right. The financial advisor gonna have a new number.
Right.
But I'm sorry.
Very first thing you want to do is
I'm sorry, Gary, Francine. The number's been changed.
Go get you a hotel room.
I'm gonna give me a very nice hotel.
under somebody.
No, you know
else's
where I'm
name
gonna go?
Fister.
to church.
No. We ain't going to the fence. I'm going to the Red Roof Inn because we can spend the night. We can spend the night.
Oh yeah. Wow.
But yeah, man. I mean, when you I don't know why people think. Why does your relatives think you need to help them out?
Well, because you're in a position to be able to at that point. Yeah, so that.
But what about all the times I was struggling?
But they weren't in a position to help you.
They were in a position to help.
Not like you in currently.
And I ain't helping them.
But question is, are you obligated to
Keith,
help?
You're not obligated to do anything. But I think after the dust settles and you figure out, which way your life is looking, you'll end up helping those that really need the help, and you know who they are.
Yeah.
And those opportunists.
Yeah.
Versus those that that if they had it, they would do the same for you.
Okay. You're a member of a congregation?
Well, I'm gonna pay the tithe.
Are you gonna pay the tithe?
Yeah.
So you win a $300 million lottery. You dropping 30 million?
Well, you know what I probably would do? What I probably would do.
What I meant to say was
No, what I probably would do is start my own church.
you and Al Green.
Yeah. Scam. This dude said scam.
Wash me over and over, over. In the blood.
Welcome to St. Darren's.
That's right.
Well, I'm telling you, nowhere institutional gonna have a campus. We're gonna have a campus, but nowhere institutional. I mean, we're gonna lay out like a campus, green space.
I wonder, Keith, something just crossed my mind when you said that. Can a nonprofit such as a church win the lottery?
I think they could. I mean,
that's just so happened that the pastor bought the ticket under the auspices
what
of the church.
But you bet that pastor gonna say, now that was my ticket. But I really, because the sister out in North Carolina who won the lottery.
We got to stop this.
What? The sister that won the lottery out in North Carolina, she spent all her money bailing a dude out of jail, trying to keep him out of jail. But then her pastor sued her because she said she was going to tithe. And then when she figured out what the tithe was, and I'm sure she had a financial advisor saying, you're not giving that church $3 million.
Yeah, because that pastor was more than likely going to abscond her.
Well, I do you? I mean,
yeah, he go.
What? Because I'm trying to think of the church,
and that's not to, and I need to stop that. I don't want to shine that kind of light on the house of the Lord, on the pastor,
whatever,
things of that nature. I just think that
money makes people act crazy.
Yeah.
Don't bring no money into it.
Yeah, this is true.
And then here's the other thing. What if you were a pastor who is fire and brimstone? Everything is sin. I'm talking about everything is sin.
Even the lottery. Especially the lottery.
Except, I understand that Brother Debo, one of our faithful members, the Lord has blessed him, and Brother Debo has said he's going to tithe.
You'd find a way to look the other way, Pastor.
I would have tithed, but I changed the number. You win a $300 million lottery.
So let me ask you a question. You said her pastor sued her. How did that come out?
I don't know if she had any basis. I don't know what the contract was based on. She didn't have a lot left anyway,
right?
Because she's so busy bailing this dude out.
Right.
God, man. I mean, she kept bailing this dude out. Oh man. Whew. But yeah, he was a white pastor.
Well, you know, and
Not that matters,
you
but
can't walk away with the philosophy that continuously there's going to be more where that came from. Because if you're not investing and you're not doing things to keep making money, it's steadily going down.
but what now some people will take it and put in a charitable trust.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, people love the Lord till they hit that lottery. I call her and see if somebody. Oh, this is my preacher brother here.
Oh yeah, that's Reverend
Yeah,
Ambrose.
Yeah.
Hey man, don't talk about me like
Yeah,
that. Let me tell you,
He probably just played his numbers this morning.
No, I've never really been a gambler. I
Okay.
always gambled on business, sure bets. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
People know how I am.
Yes, sir. Yes,
But
sir.
if you say a sure bet, it's not a bet, right?
Hey man, look here. I don't believe in base. I've had a mate that just gambled our relationship to the end, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, hey, is this really where you want to go? And that's where she went, and it ended us because she didn't know how to come out of pot of water. I got friends that lost their businesses.
Oh yeah.
One recently had lost his business, and I look at it and I just said, I cannot put myself in that position. Now I'm gonna tell you, when that lottery gets pretty big, I might go play $10.
Okay, so let me ask you the question I've been asking everybody this morning. What's the first thing you do when you hit that big lottery?
Well, I'm used to money.
Okay, I got all that. But what's the first thing you go do? You ain't used to that kind of money.
No, I'm used to money.
Yeah, but you ain't used to 300 million.
I'm used to money.
Okay.
And I'm just being honest. I'm used to money. So if I was to win a sizable amount of cash, something of that sort, I would, put things away for my kids, my grandkids, generational wealth.
Okay.
And invest in places where, like, doors, properties and something, put their name in. So when they get older, it's show them how to maintain it. But I do something for me, like I do from time to time.
You a tither?
Yes, I'm a giver to the church. Yes, I'm a giver.
I asked specifically.
I'm a giver, and I have no problem because that's my home.
Right.
What'd you do with that Bentley, man? You get that to the church, or what'd you do with that Bentley?
Oh, I can see. When it comes to vehicles, I'm a collector, so I got like 20 vehicles.
Okay.
Yeah, he's used to money.
Okay, you use.
I'll probably go get me a new Ray.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that.
I'm trying to figure out, how long me and my wife will be able to stay together. I'm sure she's gonna stay together.
If
I win the lottery,
she may not, because she's still entitled to her portion.
she gonna get her half, right?
Right.
My children's mom, she's married.
Okay.
But I would give them something, and I would look out for my daughter's mom.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm not a hungry, greedy person. When my dad, my mom passed, I had an opportunity of everything they had to do what I wanted to do with it, but I gave it to the family and continue on because I had already. So God had put me in a position where, in business, I inherited my daddy's attitude about business, and I go out here and do what I got to do, and God continues to bless you.
Right.
So,
all right, man. Well, appreciate you. Call over.
Hey, if they get any money, they need to know how to give properly. But first, find them a good financial advisor.
Yep.
Because everybody don't have financial sense.
That's good.
Financial sense.
Yep.
Makes a big difference because they'll run to the store and buy a pair of shoes, a pair of pants, a big diamond ring. Come on, wait now.
Sunroof top, living in the scene of the gangster.
All right.
All right, have a great one.
It was sunroof top. That was, ooh, man, like a phone in the car. Call him up to the program.
are welcome. I would do the same thing you guys would do. I wouldn't just change my number. I would keep my same number, but I would just answer people as I wanted to. I don't want to lose track of people. But I would get a second phone, do like you did, Keith, get a little small side hotel, and then I would probably fly somewhere and hang out about a year before I give anybody a dime because they can keep functioning the way they're functioning and figure out what I'm gonna do with me personally. And as far as the church go, they wouldn't be the first one to get any, and I wouldn't give it all to one church because I don't go to one specific church. And if I did, I would spread that around to the churches that I would feel that are maybe in need of more money. Okay, but that's what I would be doing if they need repairs done. But I would have to keep a track of that. Not just if you hand you some money, but the people in the church would have to benefit from that too. But it would be some of the churches that need more help, like that. And then I would help out charity places. Okay, but Billy, if I lived here still, which I wouldn't, I would go somewhere else, but I would maybe get more shelters for people, and specifically more shelters for men, because there's not a lot of places for men to go to without families and kids with them, and vets. That's what I would do, but I wouldn't do that right away. I would enjoy me. And I'm going to take care of people, but it wouldn't be like an overnight need. Maybe in a year, kind of get my mental health together, what I want to do, enjoy for me. And I may probably retire some people so they can enjoy time with me, also traveling. But I'm not going to just jump out and say I'm going to give everybody some money because whatever they're doing now, they can maintain themselves, okay? And then a financial advisor wouldn't be helping me out because I need money now where I'm living, not when I get a certain age and I win a lottery. I think I know how to manage money pretty well, but I'm not going to do a financial advisor millions of dollars of my money. That's like giving it to the church at the same time. They're going to rip you off anyway, or a lawyer, okay? You got to be knowledgeable, and I think I can handle my money. I got plenty of real estate. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not giving anybody a dime right away. I want to buy a sports team. And I'm talking about NFL or basketball, but there are rules and laws about who they would sell it to, so I probably wouldn't get it no way. But I would take care of Kathy first and her few friends. And when you retire people, or you give people money, keep them in the levels that they're in. If you got a house, show me your mortgage, and I'll make sure it's paid off. I'm not going to give it to you. I'm going to pay, okay? And I would help out black colleges. If there's black colleges, they would have to show me that financial information. What student needs the money? I'm not just going to give it to you because you got a full scholarship. I'm going to help black colleges out. I want to help our people move ahead in life. That's what I would be doing. I would have to sit down, look over their paperwork. They can show it to me, and I would decide how I'm going to give the money to somebody. I'm not going to give a relative $1 million house in River Hills where I'm going to keep them working. I'm just going to pay off their home, but I'm going to give them a home that they can keep paying the taxes out.
All right,
because
Kathy.
sometimes people get over their head and they can't manage, so they come back to you to help pay their bills and stuff.
Right.
And keep them where they level where they at.
All right, Miss Kathy.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
I do like our idea. I'll wait a year. If anything left, I'll hook you up. You're listening to Community Voice. We'll be right back. I've done a great job. I've done a great
The
job
second time?
not talking about last week. I was waiting till Thursday while I will do my response, and then Will Martin pops in.
Upset the
Yeah,
apple.
tell me about
cart.
But just real talk. He was giving me some. They were checking trends, him and Gerard, and there were certain things that they were finding out in terms of some things, and so it was what it was. We're inside Be Healthy, Be You.
You know, I just want to say that.
We're inside Be Healthy, Be You.
Oh, I'm Julia. Means, am I supposed to say that?
You've been gone a while.
You don't know how the program
We got
works.
the protocol here. And I'm joined by you. And I'm joined by.
Normally, I do the the introductions, and then
Right.
you.
Okay.
But you have been here,
Okay.
so
But you do recognize her though, right?
barely.
Almost didn't.
Almost did.
Almost did.
Who's that?
I just wanted to say that I was proud of my community, because I took a lot of people to vote,
Mhm.
and the people that I took were handicapped or
Mhm.
disabled, and the people that were in line were very kind, considerate, and we came together.
Mhm.
We came together, and I was
Absolutely.
very proud of my community.
Miss Julia Means, Miss Brenda Buchanan.
Good
Central
morning.
Don't talk
Wisconsin.
about it, huh? That's okay.
I'm not. I haven't
Well,
watched news. I haven't watched
I
news since
haven't
last
We
week.
were
either.
just talking about that. We
I
have
watched
not done that.
local, but I have not watched
No,
any
I don't.
national news.
Don't want
No.
to hear about it, but
I've watched the weather. Once the weather's, I kind of turn it off.
Right,
yeah,
right. And I get stuff, but
we have to heal.
I think we're doing great.
Yeah, we it was so good to see the community so warm and fuzzy with each other.
yeah, but an L's an L. All that warm fuzzy
Yeah.
L.
We're not getting one of those little, what are those participation
What do they
stickers?
call it? Right. The character building. I don't. My character don't need any more building. Okay. And we always 17, but it's a character building year. No, it's a trauma year. It is. Oh my God, 24 has been a very interesting year.
Yeah,
It has
it
been a
really
very-
has.
It was something LeBron James said in May of 2020. Kobe had died. We got George Floyd. He everything going on. He said, "I just want 2020 to be over."
Mhm,
And when I think about 2024,
mhm,
a lot of good stuff has happened.
mhm.
But man, people we lost. People die every day. As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
people die who've never died before.
I've heard that.
Here we go.
We're seeing
Thank
that now.
goodness.
We're seeing that
As you
now.
can see, nothing's changed since you've been gone.
No dead people. Come back.
Yeah.
Die again.
People who died have never died before.
Okay.
But it was there was a song that Luther Vandross said. The Luther Vandross album is probably my favorite Luther Vandross album. And on there is a line where he says that hearts get broken all the time,
Mhm.
but this time the heart is broken is mine.
Mm-hmm.
That is like
Oh.
It's so profound.
it was. I mean, it's a line that stuck with me. People die every day,
Mhm,
but when it's somebody and love,
mhm,
now that broken heart is mine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's kind of
mhm.
where I am, and then everything happens, and now I have this ecclesiastical responsibility to see hope and to give people comfort. And I'm just going to tell you, I'm just not in that position right now.
You will. You'll get there. What Reggie?
Huh?
What Reggie Jackson would say? Or am I saying that?
Mm-hmm. We're trying to get there, Julia. We're trying.
Have I saying his name wrong? Keep hope alive.
Oh, Jesse
Jesse
Jackson.
Jackson.
She said Reggie
I'm
Jackson.
thinking about Reggie Jackson because he was part of the education process that I went through while I was gone.
Okay.
The baseball player, Reggie Jackson?
No, the guy that's writing a book on Milwaukee.
Oh,
And-
Reggie.
Yeah.
Reggie Jackson.
Yeah,
Okay.
Reggie Jackson.
The grill.
And I was the class that I was taking about how food is distributed in Milwaukee,
Mhm.
but they went through our history, Milwaukee history. That's another thing we got to be proud of. And he showed how they made the expressway on 43.
Mhm.
Remember how our whole community was desolated.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's because that whole community lived in a 5-block radius. I mean, when they did the freeway, black people were only about 10% of the population.
we were, but it was.
And we just so happened to be concentrated there on 6th and 7th Street, 7th and 8th Street, right?
Well, but I mean, I recall even my church had to move 11th and Vine.
Yeah, my grandmother got relocated.
Yeah, all of that.
Yeah,
And that
she
came
was
all the
on
way
Center.
through. Walnut was interrupted by that as well.
Yes,
You know,
and then
so-
they did the Fond du Lac thing,
Mhm.
and they tore down that community,
Right.
and it dispersed. It caused the food deserts as we know of it now, and then they started laying off or closing down the factories, American Motors, and all those big factories. Our community
American
was
Motor used to be on East Capitol.
right, Walmart.
Yeah.
Walmart. And then Seal Test was over there too.
Mhm.
And those were good paying jobs. And we've been through a lot in Milwaukee where we should not have survived, but we are yet standing.
Who said we shouldn't have survived?
Well, they took a lot away, they took our income and our food away from us.
Mm. Okay.
All right.
See, Julie.
She been gone, and she done learned.
All
She done learned. Right, look at this black.
Come back.
Power to all the people. All power to all people.
She in there acting like Trump. Fight, 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 fight,
Gotta
fight.
be careful because Keith said something. Shakina gave him that look like, what was that?
He said picnic.
Oh yeah, picnic and
I didn't say
Shakina's.
picnic.
No, you were talking about
Right.
that, and Shakina gave him a look, or
I was
Tasha
sharing.
gave
That
him
was
a look.
Tasha.
That was Tasha.
I was sharing that that the county board chairwoman had came in and she kept saying picnic,
Mhm.
and everybody around her was kind of giving her a look like, stop saying picnic.
Mhm.
You know, black people don't say picnic anymore.
She wasn't catching it though.
She wasn't
Oh.
catching it because she just and then I heard she caught it because that, you know, when I was saying when I got that the date of my wedding wrong, you
Mhm.
catch it on the way out. You go like,
Mhm.
oh, I didn't
Yeah.
mean to say that.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah. The
You know what day you were wed?
Yeah.
What day was it?
The day.
Yes.
Mhm. I
Date.
know the date.
Yeah, the date.
June 24th.
Okay. He got his wrong.
Most men do.
August 3rd.
Oh, you got yours.
April 8th.
Okay.
Now
Yeah, man.
he got it wrong that day.
Was your
You,
wife listening?
He had to come back the next day tomorrow. I got to clean up on aisle 3. I got my wedding day wrong here.
Got a black eye. I'm doing the show in sunglasses. When did you catch it? Oh, I caught it. All right. But the crazy thing about I should the reason why I can always remember my wedding date is that my wedding date is also the day that I met my wife. I met my wife on April 8th. We got married on April 8th.
Hmm.
And
what was the significance of that day?
April 8th?
I'm just messing with you,
Yeah.
Keith.
Which one? When I met her or when I got married?
Oh, of course, the marriage date was because you met her on that day. That was actually quite
And I don't
clever.
know how it fell that it fell on a Saturday. I
It
met
was
her
the
on April
Lord,
8th.
man. That was the Lord.
Yeah.
This is
I pointed.
the day.
I
This is the day that
I
the
pointed something
Lord
out when
has
someone was
made.
saying that the Lord had told them.
Mhm.
I said, "Here's how the Lord works. In my limited theological understanding, the Lord doesn't speak in multiple voices,
Mhm.
right? Because when the man was possessed, he had so when you hear multiple voices, that may or may not be the Lord. I think the Lord
Mhm.
speaks in one voice. Here's the other thing: when we get a divorce, where was the Lord in all of that?
Do it on April 8th, though, if you know.
Trying to time it.
I
You
would
stop,
beat you.
man.
You did a compliment. This.
Wow.
This.
No, this is.
I wish you had went on and said it now.
Me too. She ain't got nothing to lose.
She had to hold those
Yeah.
lips tight.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, but every black person in America knew what she was about to
The
say.
white ones too.
Right. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say
Yeah,
it.
that is what everybody was saying. Keep it in. No.
She should have went on and said it.
Yeah. People argue.
What difference was it gonna make?
She black. Well, she went to Howard and she had that moment. That sealed it for me.
Absolutely.
That's sealed.
That's
Even
sealed
when
it
she
right
got
there.
close, that sealed it for me. This
Uh-huh. And shaking her head like
former president.
trying to hold it.
She called her. So that, I'm told that they said that is a
That's what
Her
word that
favorite
she
word.
uses. Yeah.
That's her favorite word. She
Yeah.
said.
And what's the other thing? Is it Doritos?
No, I don't.
They went into a store in DC
Mhm.
and Dougie got some Doritos and she immediately snatched the bag from him. Because the deal was they would sit up and watch election results eating Doritos.
Mhm.
So, but anyway, well, welcome back, Julia.
Well, I'm glad to
really-
be back. I heard you guys were doing great things.
Oh, we missed you.
We
Oh,
did terribly.
Unequivocally.
Shakina was great. Tasha was good too.
See, that takes two people to fill.
That's
in for you.
right. We had to have both of them
Two,
here at
it
the
took
same
two, right?
time.
They just have one person fill that
How much
shit.
I owe y'all?
I was telling Julia, I said, we kind of tell Shakina, don't get real comfortable because we had to tell Nancy the same thing. Nancy and Nancy was a lot of fun. I love Nancy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's been around us a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She know how it go.
She know how it goes.
Yeah, when I come back, you out. I'll let you know when we need you.
You know how we are.
You know how this thing goes.
Hope you're
You
listening,
know.
Nancy.
You know, I love being black. Might as well.
It's been some days.
She said, she said, might as well.
Might as well, right? I ain't got no choice. What can I do about it? Ain't a damn thing I can do about it.
Wow.
Oh, but you had these private conversations, and there's this song by the Winstons. If I had a choice of colors, right? Is that the Winstons or that's
That's
Curtis Mayfield.
Curtis. Yeah.
Oh.
The Winstons did color
Which
me
one would
that.
you choose, my
Yeah.
brother? If there was no day.
And we
or
go
night?
back and forth about this construct, this false construct.
Mhm.
There's no biological basis in what we call race, other than complexion, right? Melanin. And when people ask the question culturally, yes. I mean, you think about those things and how we build our culture, but there's some other experiences that one would go, I don't know today. And I had to work through some things. That's why, again, I've not had a response, because I know emotionally where I was and where I am. And so there's anger, there's disappointment. I mean, I'm just, feeling all kind of ways in terms of that. But then, as you said, we work through it.
Mhm.
And it's part of the grieving process. Anytime we lose, we grieve.
We do.
And so we understand that. My concern is going forward, how do we look at people who we might think have a different perspective than I might have had around this election? And that's going to be very difficult because it's easy for me to fall back into what I know and blame everybody that look a certain way. That's real talk, and so we have to have not a conversation, but I think an internal conversation about, kind of where we are and even where our mental health is. I mean, it exposed a lot of things. It exposed the tension between Black men and Black women. It was, people might have been thinking or feeling a certain way that we didn't quite understand. How can you think and feel that way? So there's all these things that we got to kind of work through, and dude hadn't even been inaugurated yet.
No. And, even health wise, like you spoke of the different stages of grief that we got to go through. With us being community people, we have to know how to address the people that we see. And at the food pantry, I have had people saying, "Oh, I don't care about my health. We're doomed." You know.
Well, I'm kind of feeling that, but thank you for expressing where I'm feeling. We ain't gonna be around 2 years.
And I'm like, no, you still got to take care of your diabetes. You still got to take care of your health. You still got to take your medicine.
Well, hopefully, you're gonna have an affordable health care plan.
That's what is very scary to me.
That the impact that it could have when we say elections have consequences. And John McCain is no longer in the Senate. And so again, people go like, it didn't mean anything, but now you're talking about your diabetes. Now you're talking about your hypertension, you know, that what you can do. And
you're talking pre-existing conditions. That's the major the major thing. And don't think for a minute insurance companies going to be like, oh yeah, we still don't. The minute they can enact that clause again, they will, because that's a big money savings for them to be able to do that. And most of us in our community have some sort of chronic or pre-existing condition of some sort.
But Keith, I recall you speaking to American people, and once they're giving certain inalienable rights, is the way I word it, it's very hard to take it from them. I think they did a great job in kind of making folks believe that the Affordable Care Act and Obamacare were two different things, when in essence they're the same thing. And of course, you will vote against Obamacare, but not realizing that you're actually voting against Affordable Care Act.
Well, I think the other piece of it is just talking about the pre-existing conditions. I mean, if there's a change in Congress which says that companies no longer have to treat you with a pre-existing condition or can charge you a higher rate, these are not conversations that people are having because I think we had gotten into the cultural issues and the cultural war. But after we get through all that,
I believe that there are just as many Caucasians.
Oh, absolutely.
Who need health care as anyone else. So, I mean,
people who voted.
I don't see that just completely going away. There may be some tweaking.
I think it's the people making the decisions. Most of them have money, and that's not a big concern for them.
Those same people, as they were voted in, realize that they can be out of there.
But that's not an issue.
You start trying to take away from.
It's not an issue.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
If you look at the issues that people voted on, the economy
was one,
immigration. There were certain issues around what I want to say, sexual orientation, as to transgenders, abortion.
Yeah, they did a great job in blowing that out of proportion.
Democracy, those things. You didn't hear the Affordable Care Act. And the same people who were in power, again, had it not been for John McCain, we would have had a very different looking Affordable Care Act. Now you can argue the politics, but people vote against their interest all the time. And so when I say that, I'm not saying Republican or Democrat at this point. I'm just saying that if health care is important, I'm in a different situation in terms of my health care. So it might not be that big of an issue. But it could be an issue for my goddaughter. It could be an issue in terms of her having to go. Now she happens to work for a healthcare system, but let's say she decides now she's going to take another job someplace else, and there will no longer be portability where you can go in even with a pre-existing condition and not have to pay this exorbitant premium for your healthcare. So but that discussion wasn't there. You know, because again, we were so caught up in the emotionally attractive issues that we kind of missed that let's talk about, let's say, deregulation. You know, we unleash business, but we're also dealing with a climate crisis right now. And this is only going to make the climate crisis worse, which then impacts our health, right? Because if we allow certain carcinogens what is it, carcinogens,
Carcinogens.
to get in the air. What does that look at? We're talking about
Mhm.
lung cancer today.
Mhm.
You know, a lot of times it's not so much people smoking, people who get
Oh, the environment,
the
what they're
environment.
exposed to.
So
And the Affordable Care Act is the whole wellness piece, which we talk a lot about here. Having a primary doctor, getting your screenings done, those things that are wellness to prevent disease. Many of those things may go away because part of that was in there too, that having to offer those things.
I
So,
just paid my mom's medical bills, and I'm sure it was, a lot. But her out of pocket was only $600.
awesome.
And she had major surgery.
Mhm.
Was in the
That's
hospital
great
for over a
insurance.
week. Right. Medicare.
Mhm.
So when now again, if you're not in a situation where you use health insurance, no, what's the big deal
Mhm.
until you need it?
Until you need it, that one time.
Well, it's time to be healthy, be you. She's back.
Yay!
Miss Julia Means, Miss Brenda
Juju.
Buchanan. Juju.
Juju's back.
Have you seen Juju? This girl, Juju, I think it's Juju. I'm trying to think of her name. Plays at USC.
Mm-mm.
Juju can play
Mm.
She played basketball.
basketball.
I
A
have to
lady
check her out.
Trojan. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. April 26th. It's gonna be a good show. All right, we're back, and again, we're joined in the studio by Miss Julia Means and Miss Brenda Buchanan. Today, we're going to talk about lung cancer.
Yeah, you know.
No, did I read it wrong?
We changed that because we talked about lung cancer a couple weeks ago. It's insurance enrollment. You should have another.
Oh, I was
When they
all ready
came
for
out.
lung cancer.
Now, if you,
Hey, yeah, what's up with these meetings that me and Julia's not at? What-
yeah. We can
Tuesday,
talk about. We
November
can
12th?
we can
Is that what
save
the
this.
day is?
Yes,
Oh,
but when that sent
Okay,
out,
okay.
I
Okay.
replied
Okay.
back
We
and
have-
said we talked about that last
oh, okay.
week.
Oh, okay.
So, but go
I-
ahead. We can.
I just want to say, because so many people smoked. We didn't know no better.
Mhm.
And then the cigarette companies got us hooked. Remember, they used to send them free cases of packs of
Newports.
cigarette. Yeah,
Yeah.
Newports.
Newport.
They not only got us hooked on cigarettes, they got us hooked on menthols.
Mhm.
And they knew how long it took for you to get an addiction. So that's how many cigarettes they gave you for free. Now, do you know any of us that's going to
Turn down a free pack of menthol.
This sister that went off. She didn't come back home. All militant. We got conspiracies with a Q.
they got us.
You know what else I learned?
They got us hooked. But what I didn't know, in California, it's illegal to smoke menthol cigarettes.
Yeah, they've outlawed them.
They outlawed it.
And they
Not
were
here.
changing the flavors of the vaping,
Yes.
but they were able to prevail. I think they still can get menthol.
They still, yeah. And we think cigarette smoking is gone. It is not as big as it used to be, but vaping has taken over. And it has affected our young children. And parents need to be aware of that. And
they're not regulated.
Oh.
So, I was talking to somebody yesterday. Now I look
What's
like a
not
chipmunk.
regulated?
The vaping, the cartridges and stuff.
It's regulated.
Oh, is it now?
Yeah, because they've taken all the flavors out.
Oh, the
Oh,
flavors in that.
to
But
try to-
but when they, vaping, some of the chemicals in that's because they don't want to target children.
Mhm.
But some of those chemicals in there have caused some severe lung damage for people, not realizing that you're just trading one bad thing for another.
And some people
It's
think
not
vaping
safe.
is better than
They think it's
Mhm,
safe, and
mhm.
it's not. Some of those chemicals in there can be very damaging to the lungs.
I was just going to say there are some that people smoke that they do something and you don't even see the smoke coming out. What's that, Brenda? What's that? It's some you
The smoke goes back into the device.
Right.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, because
But
that nicotine addiction is real.
I think about, oh yeah.
Yeah, it's real.
I remember working when I started at the county, even when I worked for the state. You could smoke at your desk.
Nurses station.
Yeah, they would smoke.
Yeah, you could smoke. You go to restaurants, and I remember they said, "Well, we're gonna end all smoking indoors." And
I said, yeah, right.
and the bars were like, "Oh, we're gonna lose money. Oh, we're gonna lose money." They didn't.
They didn't.
People go outside,
Mhm.
or they wait. I worked at Camp Wickham Mason, 1984, and my camp director had lost his dad to emphysema.
Mhm.
So he had quit smoking, the whole thing, and he kind of was saying that he's not a big fan of smoking. So we had an orientation, and he asked the question, "How many people here smoke?"
Mhm.
Me and another dude raised our hands. We're the only two that raised our hands, right? I'm thinking, wow, it's just me and him, huh? So you have to stay on, it's called a reservation. You stay on the campsite so you can, recreate when the kids are there. So get
Mhm.
used to doing that 24-hour.
Mhm.
So we were able then to go off campus the 4th day. So we went to this place on Lake Keys called Busey's. Anybody ever been up to Busey's? It's a hot spot. I saw so many people smoking
Mhm.
when we got to Busey's who said they did not smoke.
Oh, they was
Mhm.
lying.
Right. And then somebody said, well, I only drink when I smoke.
Oh boy.
Because when you drinking, and it was like, and the
Mm-hmm.
kids are anti-smoking. I mean,
They
we
are.
have done such a great job
This
of
generation.
programming
Mhm.
kids.
Except the ones that are vaping.
Yeah, I mean, but you're always going to have, because what was the attraction for a young person smoking when they were young? Well, one, it was ubiquitous, it was everywhere. Even now, when you do movies like Turner,
Yeah.
they'll put up that smoking is in, you have to even label movies now. That's just
Oh,
how,
really?
yeah, they'll let you know the smoking, obviously
Mhm.
drug use, nudity. And then the other thing that I didn't know until I went to see Oppenheimer is people who are sensitive to
Oh, to the
light,
strobes.
the
Mhm.
strobe lights, and
For the
so,
seizures.
yeah, for the seizures. But kids don't. They're very, very anti. We smoke because we wanted to look like adults.
Well, and it was a cool thing to do. I
Well,
mean,
and
you
when do we
look-
smoke? Cools.
Right.
Cools.
Moors, when the Moors, what they call Moors, those long brown hoods. But if
Whoa.
you look at the commercials targeted into the African American community,
Yes.
they only had a few cigarettes that they targeted, but those ads all you make like it's just the best thing in the world. You got a drink, you're smoking the women are smoking the Moors, you saw those commercials were targeted at the African American.
Well, we
community.
did. That my favorite one is the Newports, where the dudes are just got finished playing ball. That was a lived experience.
Mhm.
Because we get finished playing outdoors and everybody's sitting up there lighting them the Newports, and
Yeah, my lungs are nice and open now
nice and
from
open, right,
all this exercise. Let's just fill it now.
and it was so bad. I could remember having like I had it timed. I was playing in this church basketball league, so I had it timed. So I'm like, we play at this time. Go have a cigarette, but then the games got
Longer.
pushed back.
Okay.
Right
Okay.
now, I'm having a nicotine fit.
Mhm.
So when people talk about, I remember my doctor saying to me, he said, kicking cigarettes is like kicking heroin.
Mhm.
We talk about it a lot.
Mhm.
You have the same kind of reactions where your body goes through withdrawals and the whole piece. So I'm real sympathetic to people when they talk about how difficult it is to quit smoking.
Mhm.
Now, the sometimes the most vicious people when it comes to being anti-smoking are former smokers.
Yeah. Well, that's because they don't want to get that itch. But
You said that itch?
yeah, they don't want it around them. But sometimes, do you ever go? The smell. Sometimes the smell of it.
I smell it now, and I have a different reaction to the smell, particularly Newports. But I know I called it black crack.
Mhm.
When I graduated from college and worked at our Avenue Playground, I didn't smoke all through college. I didn't smoke all through high school. It wasn't until my boss, he and I would travel, be on the road, and so he would have like just packs of parliaments. I don't know if you remember parliaments.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, and he just
Is
smoked.
that
He
the
could
red pack?
No, that's the light blue one. They had
Oh.
this filter on it,
Oh.
and he smoked parliaments, and we would drive. Trying to remember, we would drive from Emmitsburg to Newark. That's 4 hours. That's 4 hours nonstop smoking. I didn't smoke. I smoked weed, but I didn't smoke.
Mhm.
So I don't know how I ended up started smoking, but when I did, it was Benson and Hedges.
Mm.
And I was working at our Avenue Playground, and I pull out this long Benson and Hedges, and they looking at you like, dude, are you smoking those white people cigarettes?
Mhm. Mhm. That was not
Yeah.
culturally
Gave me a
appropriate.
Newport, and my world changed.
Mhm.
My world changed, man. So, and Newport targeted, you're right, it targeted where
Sure.
Winston's and others would target. That was really interesting because sometimes you remember vending machines, cigarette vending machines,
Mhm.
and a lot of the cigarette vending machines in these establishments didn't always have menthol cigarettes.
Mhm.
And once you get to a certain level of inebriation, all you want now is the
Is a
tobacco.
cigarette.
So I'm sitting up smoking Winston's, which is like,
That's
what my mother smoked.
that was gonna
was
say
Winston's?
that's a woman. Uh-huh.
yeah, they smoke Winston's, and then
And I was disgusted by it even then as a kid.
Really?
You'd be in the car and that smoke, I'd be like halfway dying. Yeah, I did not.
Well,
even
talk
like
to all
it
the
then.
kids. And we were talking last Thursday. Somebody called in and she was talking about how her mom sent her to the store
Mm-hmm.
to get cigarettes. To write a note.
Mm-hmm.
you
Oh
know.
yeah, my mother used to send her grandkids to the corner store. They knew the people in the store. They'd come in. They know she was alcohol
Mm-hmm.
and cigarettes, and they'd give it to the kids because they knew my mom, and they would
And I
take it
bet
back
you they
home
made
to
it
them.
home too, didn't they?
They sure did.
They wouldn't today.
No, right. If they didn't make it home, their life would be over.
Yeah, that would
My
be a
mother-
real problem.
Yeah, my mother didn't.
'Cause we were
beer and
talking-
cigarettes.
We were talking about doing COVID, and someone pointed out to me why one of the primary reasons liquor stores stayed open
Mhm.
was that if you close liquor stores, people who are dealing with alcohol addiction would go into withdrawal,
Mhm.
right?
And our ICUs would be full of people
Mhm.
right?
who were withdrawn from alcohol.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think people, because I think we moralize it.
Mhm.
That has always been why you shouldn't do it. I think now we understand there's the health impact
Mhm.
of what we do, and so because it just seems like we always talk about sin, and sin seems to change.
Yeah.
But I understood. I mean, if you look at why I went and did some history on the missionary Baptists, right? Why they're missionary Baptists, and they were really fundamentalist people. They were, they believed in the unerred word of God, the Bible. They were very strict when it came to things like alcohol use, gambling, all these things. Now, people say from a moral perspective, now there is no prohibition of smoking in the Bible. There's no prohibition of gambling in the Bible, nor drinking, because you would find out that alcohol was ubiquitous. It was everywhere, right?
Mhm.
But what happened was when people began to deal with their addictions, the impact it would have on families.
Mhm.
Let's say you're the primary breadwinner, men, and you go gamble, and you gamble away all the money. Or during my period, the 80s, people go smoke it up and crack.
Mhm.
And so what happens to the family? Because, you're trying to, so the addiction piece, we got the physical part of it. There's the emotional, psychological part of it, but it's also the social impact that it has in terms of, so when we talk about health, and we kind of go like, well, we found out, back to COVID, we found out just how connected we were.
Mhm.
So my health could impact on your health.
Yes.
Now, we've always had that, right? But it just kind of brought it full circle in terms of, we're just not in the world. So back in the day when people were able to smoke and share communities, how many people were
They were
victimized by
affected. Mhm. Secondhand
secondhand smoke?
Yeah. And you realize that, like, at the hospital they had a room that they could smoke in. It was off from the parking lot, and then they closed it down where you couldn't smoke on the property. And you walk in there and the walls were had nicotine all on the walls. It was
Brown.
brown.
And even they would have the air filters, but the air filters couldn't keep up with just the amount of smoke that went in. I remember flying into Atlanta. Atlanta was one of the few airports that had a smoking room.
Oh.
Because what I had to do was dash out, try to get outside, and then try to figure out how to get back in. Right? Go through security, and depending on what's going on, to get back with Atlanta. And then, now I'm really sensitive to that smell when you kind of walk in the room.
Oh, yeah, I can pick up on smoke on
Yeah.
anybody. Very sensitive to it. When you talk about
Were you
the
ever a
walls,
smoker?
No. I mean, I tried a couple times, but not like I never bought a cigarette or sat around, It'd be like if you were out with your friends and they gave you a cigarette, that was it. But
Girls smoking used to, especially in high school, the girls smoking in high school was so funny, but so many girls smoked
never
in high
in high
school.
school. It wasn't
a lot of them
Yeah, but a lot of that was weight. You know,
keep the weight off.
keep the weight off, and
Yeah, people still do it for that reason.
Oh,
There are people
models.
that are still afraid to quit smoking because they're going to gain weight, but you'd have to gain you'd have to gain a whole lot of weight to have this as significant
Weight
effect
loss.
on your body as those cigarettes do. When you talked about like this, you go in apartments where, that's why in those senior housing, they don't allow, you can't smoke in those. The walls would just be covered, and that's what's in your lungs too.
Mhm.
The bottom of your lungs is full of tar, and that's why when people quit smoking, it only takes about 48 hours for you to that physical to be out of your body. However, the cravings are not all, most of them are
Mhm.
physical. They're habitual. Get up in the morning, smoke, take a shower, smoke, do other things,
Well, what
have a
smoking
smoke.
appealed to was your oral fixation.
Right. And yes, that hand to mouth, you get used to those
And
things.
so what do you do then when
And-
you quit smoking?
Right. You have to
start
learn,
eating.
you have to,
Mhm.
well, some people do. But again, you'd have to gain a whole lot of weight for it to be worse for you than the cigarette smoke. But that's why when people stop smoking, oftentimes they feel worse for a couple months
Mhm.
because all that tar that's in the bottom of their
body's
lungs,
expelling
they're
it.
trying to cough it up.
Mhm.
So they're coughing up black stuff. They don't feel good. Their asthma kicks in, all those things. But eventually, that's because your lungs are trying to clear out and heal themselves.
It
Takes time.
They said Nat King Cole smoked because he liked how his voice sound.
Oh, that raspiness.
His voice. So he
James Cleveland was another one.
did he smoke?
Oh man,
And-
did he
and-
smoke?
And then does it really affect your voice?
Oh,
It
yeah.
was going to
it
affect your
certainly
voice. I don't
can.
know if it's positive or not.
Yeah,
but
well, they
eventually
thought it was
does.
positive.
Well, they like that sound.
They like that.
That's
They
what their
thought it was
signature
positive.
sound was, kind of that
yeah,
raspy.
how did I know James Cleveland smoked?
How?
Well, James Cleveland came to town with the troubadours, the gospel troubadours.
Uh-huh.
That was an interesting group of men, and we're at the old evangelistic temple
Yeah.
over there on Hopkins.
Yeah.
Bishop Flakes.
Yeah,
Bishop
now this was
Flakes.
before Bishop. I know Bishop had just got the church, or Valdez was still there. Because
Okay.
remember, Valdez used to be
Right,
there.
right.
And so he brought in, and so we came in, and they had like a green room.
Yeah.
And he was in, and he was
Smoking.
smoking. I mean, he
Oh.
was
Was that
smoking.
room off to the side over there?
Yeah, coming the door right off here to the right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was going like, not to mention that the troubadours came in dressed as pirates, which was a very
Interesting.
Never seen that before.
they had on these pirate. It was just kind of going like,
You're like,
okay.
"Hmm."
Pirates?
If you ever, if you're in a choir, they can put you in some stuff.
Okay.
They could
Somebody came up with that suggestion.
Yes,
Right.
depending on who the dresser was, that they put you in some stuff and you would be like, whew. But yeah, he was, as a matter of fact, they said he had started off as a tenor and he ended up as a baritone.
Well, I bless you.
Wow,
my
that's
faith.
a
Oh,
big
he had the
difference.
lisp.
The God that bless me.
Oh.
Yeah, he had the lisp. The guy that they had play him in the Aretha Franklin movie had him down. He
Did
had the
he?
lisp. Yeah, I mean, he really had him down. But they said he was a tenor, and I guess all those years and just the strain,
Mhm.
yeah.
on your voice when you look at Donnie McClurkin. They started developing these
Yeah,
nodules, and
yeah.
these
Mhm.
folks are, I mean, they're high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is why Gladys Knight is still able to perform, because Gladys Knight is like an alto,
Okay.
and so almost close to tenor. So the register for her is very different than Phil Bailey,
Mhm.
who does this falsetto. And now a lot of the notes he can't even hit anymore,
Mhm.
because he's in his 70s.
Mhm.
So people able to. So it depends on where you are, but I could see where Nat King Cole, and then he was just probably addicted to cigarettes.
Well, but it killed him. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, he died of lung cancer.
he
yeah.
died of lung cancer, but when they talked about his, they said he liked the lisp that he had from his voice. So people smoke for different reasons, but what impresses me the most about your lungs is how it'll rejuvenate itself.
Mhm.
And how you can stop smoking 12 hours.
Yeah, take away that stressor.
And the lungs will start healing itself. And it could almost be as if you've never smoked. How many years it
I
takes?
can't remember how it's quite a few years, but
Right.
still it's
Yeah,
significant.
It can.
Well, it's interesting because that leaf, the tobacco leaf,
Mhm.
the tobacco leaf is partially why we were enslaved.
Yes, it is.
And the popularity throughout the world. We're talking about the tobacco leaf. We're not talking about cigarettes, which is this thing where there's 400 chemicals they put in
That
chemicals.
they added.
Right.
Yeah.
We're talking about people who go in, like people smoke cigars.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, that's pure tobacco, right?
Yeah.
And people, and I had a buddy. I didn't really like big cigars, but I loved the way they smelled.
Mhm.
You know, it's interesting. And then you have more women now smoking cigars.
Yeah.
You do. I see that. A
That-
lot of women
it's
smoke
It's
cigars.
an elite thing now that people smoke.
Well, they got cigar bars everywhere.
Right. And because I think you become discerning in terms of the taste of the tobacco,
Mhm.
which is really what it's about. You know, when you look at it. And then the other thing that they're doing though, and this is pure nicotine, they do when the hookahs.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Hookah.
Hookahs.
Hookah.
Yeah.
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 I have a friend who has a hookah
Bar.
machine.
Oh,
And so, you know,
they
if he has a party, people are doing the hookah. And
still smoking.
I know. I know.
I see my
But you know, with the cigars, I find it interesting because, like, when you said the taste, a lot of people, that's it. They don't inhale it or anything. They just puff on it, the taste, and it's not something they inhale, so they're not getting that.
yeah,
What
I'll tell you
that
something you don't see as much as you used to. Very prevalent when I was a kid was pipe smoking.
yeah.
Mhm.
oh
Oh.
yeah.
Oh, that was a perpetrator in
Mhm.
college.
Oh,
I had
That's
a
right.
tweed coat and I had a pipe.
Oh,
And boy, did I wouldn't even wear glasses then.
what was the guy who had the pipe, the investigator?
Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, Sherlock Holmes.
Was that kind of pipe or just a regular pipe?
It was a regular
It was a
pipe
Sherlock Holmes
that
pipe.
could be converted.
Right. Yeah.
I was referring
All
to.
encompassing. Yeah.
You could do a little
Pipe.
thing and you could
Yeah.
convert. Yeah, but I did. I
Or
had,
you
I
might
had a
have the
pipe.
one that had the little hook in it that looked like a
Yeah.
little.
No, I never
saxophone.
did that one. It was just like a pipe. And
What kind of
certainly
pipe are you talking about, Keith?
Yuli's,
Mm.
I used to get, they had this cherry blend.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, that was just really, but oh man, the girls love me, man. That,
No,
Mm.
you
Intellectual.
thought you was doing
and then
it. Mhm.
I mean, all
my
you needed
room-
was your smoking jacket.
right, my roomie Buck took it to a different level. Buck had a briefcase
Oh.
because this is before book bags.
But you ever pay attention to how television shows, for instance, we'll just use like I Love Lucy.
Mhm.
When you saw Ricky with his smoking jacket on and all of this, they always glamorize
Smoking.
that style. That was kind of
You
like,
had doctors.
Yeah,
Did you
had-
have like this type, one of those types,
Yes.
something like that?
Yeah, I had a whole collection of them.
Yeah.
You smoked the pipe?
I tried it.
Now the problem with the corn cob is nobody ever thought you had tobacco in it. Corn cob pipes were really
Oh.
popular for
The
weed.
one that looked like corn husk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
That was one. But
Yeah, because everybody walks around with a corn husk in their mouth. But-
right.
Sure. They
So just for the fun of it.
Little Abner.
Yeah.
With the
Yeah.
grandma Little Abner with the but you know it was I did I loved the smell of real good tobacco, and certainly if you the pipe really gives you a great smell.
You know, and I was going to say, pipes, because I knew lots of people, in my family that had pipes. I mean, some are so ornate and so beautiful. Some are just plain, but if you really wanted, you got a really nice, beautiful pipe.
What was the ones though? The pipe would turn colors. You get it and start off. I think it was German,
Mm.
and as you
Mm.
smoked it, obviously
It
it would
turned
turn. It would turn colored in terms of not like it would just become darker because
Mm.
you're obviously
Mhm.
you're smoking. But
So
it was that leaf. That leaf changed the world.
it did. And foreign countries now, they smoke a lot more than we do.
Because we market. Because you can market differently in foreign countries than you can here.
Mhm.
We don't have cigarette commercials here on
Right.
television.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
You know, I mean that was banned back
Ads,
in
period.
Mhm.
right. But here's what they do allow advertising up now. hard liquor
Yeah, I noticed.
Mm-hmm.
that, but here's something,
Seal.
watch the commercials. Here's something you'll never see.
Them drinking it.
You'll never see them drink it. That's the
Yeah.
agreement that they
Gotta
had,
hold it up.
that if we allow you to advertise it, you cannot drink it.
And almost every single TV show has a brand of
Liquor.
alcohol
Oh,
liquor
yeah.
in there now,
Yeah, brand
so a certain
placement.
bourbon or a certain scotch or
Or if
you
they
know,
don't have the agreement, they
to-
turn the bottle
yes
around,
to the other side
Oh.
right? Because they
because
don't
they
have,
can't show it.
they can't show the bottle.
Mm.
But then, it was again, and people would get off, and the first thing you see them do is go grab a drink, right? Now you don't see the smoking part of it because that used to be, but I love old movies.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you just watch people just
Puffing it up.
Betty Davis.
Yeah.
You didn't see Joan Crawford, though. I'm trying to remember the roles I ever saw. I never saw Joan Crawford smoke. I saw Betty Davis, but never saw Joan Crawford smoke. But it wasn't. So part of that was just the thing. And then let's talk about marketing again and what they did with cigarettes. There was the Cool's Jazz Festival.
They
Mhm.
advertised. They supported a lot of venues and things, and people.
What brand did Barack Obama smoke?
I think he was Newport's.
I was say I think
Southside Chicago, I think he's Newport's. Yeah.
They would give a lot of money to the community and then to win popularity.
Well, but I recall Juneteenth here. You
Oh,
can
yeah.
go down on the grounds. They give away those little
Packets.
miniature packs of
Mhm.
cigarettes.
Mhm.
Lorelei.
They would give away free little beer cups of
Mhm.
beer. Miller
Mhm.
would be down there giving away beer and cigarettes.
Yeah, at Juneteenth.
times have
Yeah.
changed, haven't
Yeah.
they?
We can say that we've come a long way in health wise, but they say you get lung cancer, but there are other diseases that you can get from smoking that's not necessarily lung cancer, and the
Mhm.
biggest one is heart attacks.
Yes.
It's bad. When you smoke, and hypertension. When we had our hypertension clinic, people would come in and their blood pressures would be sky high, and you just got through smoking a cigarette, didn't you? How can you
Yeah.
tell? Well, first of all, I can smell it,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
second of all, your blood pressure is
It's just a little high.
Right. Yeah.
You should
Just
probably
a
go.
little high.
Just go right over.
Just go across the street.
Uh-huh.
They'll have a wheelchair waiting for you. Just
Yeah. Keith seems to think that you can't get like harsh with. I'm like, oh no, Julia can. If she has to, she can do it.
I've kind of mellowed in
Mhm.
in my old age, but
I told him about the time that young lady, you told her, when you go home, don't wear those pants no more.
Huh?
Well, let's say
were they a little tight?
not only that,
they
it wasn't covering
yeah,
the whole
they didn't fit
part
it
of
all.
her body.
Yeah. So Julia,
She was exposed.
very exposed. So, but back to smoking. I just want to add to that.
And it was one of the young girls I was working with, so I was trying to teach her.
Mhm. But that's not a good look.
No,
Not
you
a good
don't
look.
wear those. Don't wear those no more.
Mm-mm.
Sometimes some of these people actually look good in those outfits.
Not this one. No, not this one, Keith. If you had been there, you would have.
I
you
told
would
the story
understand.
about the Sunny, the sister wore a kente dress.
She wore what?
A
dress?
kente, kente cloth
Mhm.
dress.
Yeah.
When
Not-
God made her body, he made it for that dress.
Mhm.
And it wasn't offensive.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I mean, people stopped like,
Mhm.
wow, that looks good on you. Because just because you can, don't mean you should.
Mhm.
No disrespect to folks out there. You go to some of these concerts and don't let it be somebody that's skewed old. And I'm watching these old folks trying to.
Mm-mm. Like there's some things
You
I
can't
could
wear
wear.
those shoes
I could
anymore.
probably look okay in it, but at my age,
Sure.
no. At home, I'd be looking good in it. What you talking about? At home in front of my own mirror? No, I'm just kidding. But there's some things that it's like, that's probably not the best look for me.
So there's age appropriate attire.
Yes.
It should be.
Mhm.
Really?
It should
Mhm.
be.
Y'all getting old.
Mhm.
I am. I am proud of it. But sometimes,
Well, when I talk about your chronological,
Mhm.
oh, sometimes don't you get tired of seeing people crack? You know, don't you
Just-
go like,
Just say no.
Rather blunt.
do I have to look at this all day?
The kids used to always say, "Just say no to crack" when they see somebody doing it.
Yeah.
Just say no.
say no to the
Like,
crack.
that's offensive.
Yeah, I don't want to see that either.
Well, I'd ask the question: who do you dress for? Do you dress for you, or do you dress for other people? Women will. I dress for me.
Mm.
No, you ain't just dressing
Mhm.
for you. No
Some
disrespect.
are seeking attention.
Yeah, no
Mhm.
disrespect to your great self-esteem, but why would you put all that in? Well, Brenda sounds like she does that. She gets dressed up, and then I'm not going to go out with it. Boy, don't I look good?
Nah, I try on things in my closet and I think I look good, but I'm like, yeah,
Gotta give
that's
that
going,
away.
that's going in that pile right there.
And a buddy of ours, he left him out and joined the military, so he wrote us a letter. And so he's just asking how everybody's doing and going, how's Keith doing? He's still trying to save the world. He's going down. Then he gets to my buddy Mark. He goes, he said, how's Mark doing? How's Mark dressing? Does he still dress like he got dressed in dark in the closet? I said, yeah, he can put on some outfits that, even for college students, you would be like, dude,
Risky.
I don't know, man. I mean, but I think people express themselves in how they dress.
They do.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I have to like it.
Right.
My pet peeve is wrinkles everywhere. That's my pet peeve. You throw a shirt on and it hasn't seen an iron or a dryer
Iron. Do people
in
still
months.
purchase irons?
I have an iron.
I just bought one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have an iron.
Y'all old school though.
There's appropriate use
So
for
what
an
there's
iron.
some times that I
you
have
I
to-
mean, but on average, and
Mhm.
just being honest, I watch people who I know who used to send their jeans. They'd have to
Oh,
be
get 'em
pressed,
starched
and,
up.
and all of that.
That's
Nobody's doing that anymore.
That's kind of
No.
bamish to me, boy.
What's bamish?
Yeah.
Elaborate.
Crease in your jeans, starch. That's so 1979, 80.
Yeah.
When cleaners were cheap,
Yeah.
cleaners are
And you'd get
expensive
extra
now.
starch.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that crease didn't fall out. You got extra
That
starch.
crease still be in there when you take them off.
I remember going to the
Right.
Walgreens on State Street,
You could stand them up.
Walgreens.
and I asked the young lady, I said, what's the spray starch? Where's the spray starch? She goes, what spray starch?
Right, right.
And then she was curious, what do you use it for? And I said, well, you use it to lay out wrinkles, to kind of, lay the garment down. We just did a black and white ball. And I think that the shirt is supposed to be very starched. It's supposed to be almost hard.
Mhm.
But man, I've been pressing clothes since,
Oh, you good at it, huh?
oh man, call me Hap Singh.
Yeah, but
Same.
most recently you didn't do the crease. You just laid them flat, and you at least
yeah.
got the
You don't-
wrinkles
Yeah.
out.
You don't do that.
Well,
Now
so-
they don't even do that. And you
Yeah.
mentioned the dryers. I remember when people would just throw them in the dryer and knock the wrinkles out.
Mhm.
They don't do that now. They just
They
wrinkle.
just go for the wrinkles, right?
I just know
But
old school.
there are now sprays that kind of relax the wrinkles
I do the
in there.
water.
And we
Just
have
water
more
bottle.
fabrics. Before, when we had mostly cotton, or we had you had to. I mean, it'd be wrinkly all the time. But yeah, some people just go for the wrinkle look. It drives me nuts.
Oh,
It's
Oh,
like,
that's
did
the
you
thing.
What
see
about
that?
what about the non-combing of the hair? It's
Yes.
just long and matted
So let's
all up
go
and just,
with the non-combing of the hair, a very wrinkled shirt, and pants that don't cover anything. Yeah, that's kind of
The ideal guy. Huh?
Yeah.
There's my dream date. You
Yeah.
remember that game, Dream Date?
Yes.
No, not the game. Like, and
Oh, that you play at home?
yeah, it used to be called
Oh,
Dream Date,
uh.
and then they would go door to door, and then then it'd be a dud. That's what the first time I heard dud. Yeah, Dream Date. You never.
No,
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I'm not a big gamer. Some people are, but yeah.
Well, let's take a break.
Okay.
Hey, we're inside Be Healthy, Be You. Miss Julia Means, Miss Brenda Buchanan, in Central Wisconsin. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Are you a small business owner looking to scale your
Ms. Julie Means, Ms. Brenda Buchanan.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
We do need to talk about getting examinations early. If you stay with your primary care physician and they know your history, and if they know you smoked in the past, or you and you got to be truthful with your primary care. Did you smoke? Like you said, no. People said, no, I didn't smoke.
I mean, you smoke like one a day?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, 1+. You mean 1 pack a day?
Because they have a formula they put that in.
They do that calculates your risk.
That calculates your risk.
And whether or not you are a candidate for pre-screening, which is, I think, an MRI. It's either a CT or an MRI. I think it's an MRI. To look at whether, you've got, and many people have nodules in their lungs, but if you have one, that has to be further investigated. They're not always cancerous, but it's still something that you need to be aware of and have investigated.
Abscess in my lung, abscess, which burst, and I got
that
very.
Couldn't feel good.
It did not feel
massive
good at
infection.
all. told somebody, "Had you ever wished you were dead, but you're not gonna die?"
Mm,
That's
yeah.
kind of where it was. But I think the other thing that we kind of talked about this over and beyond people smoke, there's a carcinogens that are in the air.
Mhm.
I remember Dr. Cassandra Wanzo said that. She said, "Yeah, smoking, but think about people who never smoked who got lung cancer."
Sure.
You know?
Chemicals in your home, chemicals you're exposed to, pollution, especially if you live near factories and in big cities, where there's lots of cars and all of that, you do breathe in more carcinogens and chemicals than people who, let's say, even in a rural area, though, in farmland, there's a lot of carcinogens that people
Well, the
breathe
water,
in.
the water,
Mhm.
just
The
the
water,
runoff,
the chemicals from, they fly over and drop chemicals for the crops, fertilizers, that kind of stuff. That's all.
I was watching a piece on Love Canal. I don't know if people remember the Love Canal up near Buffalo, and how do you know that they're still trying to let people live there?
Oh.
And and what it was there was, I don't know if it was a DuPont plant, and it had run in, and they were able to sell the land real cheap. And so then people are there. Even they talked about, because when they would talk about kids getting cancer, and they believed that the cancer clusters were caused by the high tension wires, where you had. But if you look at in our community, a lot of people are near hazardous waste sites, and that seeps into the groundwater.
It does.
So when you talk about rural areas, that's where we can go in, and we have a very good filtration system here. But if you look at the water, that's why they wanted water from the lake in Waukesha and not their groundwater, because that groundwater is so contaminated.
Yeah. Even like if you have a well, like I have a well, it has to be tested. My outside water is well water. It has to be tested on a regular basis to make sure that I don't drink from it. I didn't even feed my dogs from it. And but you still get it tested to make sure that it's safe for consumption. And and it just, runoff, into the waters from the, like you said, the chemicals, the pollutants, the things that we use for our plants, the pesticides, all of that stuff.
Just every fish that you catch in fresh water here has some mercury in it.
Oh, sure. And that's why the smaller the fish, the better. Like if they're full grown, obviously they probably got more in there because they've been in the water longer, if they're very large fish, whereas the smaller fish don't have as much, the young fish, I should say, because they haven't been in the water as long.
And that's why we don't, we ask that pregnant women don't eat a lot of fish because of the mercury that's in the fish. My dad retired from American Motors, and he died of prostate cancer. But my mom had a autopsy done. His lungs was full of asbestos.
Yeah.
So you don't know. We don't know what people are walking around with. But lung cancer still is the number one cause of death. And that leaf, that tobacco that you talk about, that that is killing people still today. And I know.
And the chewy stuff, don't forget that, people who chewed snuff and tobacco, pull that lip out,
so
put that down in there. It was disgusting.
Carry
your spit can around.
Tobacco.
They don't taste good.
Oh my God, it is. Oh,
it does not taste good, because I tried it because my aunt used snuff and tobacco. So I tried it. It was, as a child, it was not good.
An amazing thing,
disgusting.
they were talking about the number of baseball players, who developed like jaw cancer, just from chewing it, because the way baseball works, it's you do a lot of standing around, and so some people would mix it with bubble gum, and no.
I do know some young people. When I say young, I'm talking early 30s. That chew tobacco, and I can't quite understand why. Today. And I asked the question why, and they just said they like it. And I was like, wow, that's nasty.
You just messes up your teeth.
It does.
That's gonna have to be one of my Wednesday words.
Nasty.
Nasty.
Had like glass in it or something.
No, it's no
They have what
glass.
in it?
Glass. It's just nasty.
It is, but you know, again, it's
has the nerve to be sweet too.
Yeah, but that's part of
is
it.
it?
Yeah, sweet until you really chew on it,
After a while, yeah.
and then the real taste comes in, and now you're trying to spit it out. Don't swallow it. That is the worst thing.
And then learn the spit.
Yeah.
To the side.
Oh.
Yeah, and got that spit down.
What did they used to call them? Spittoons.
Is it better than smoking cigarette?
Just as bad.
Just as bad.
Just as bad.
Different,
but
in
just
terms,
as bad.
but just
It's still that's that tobacco. It is still causing problems, and a lot of baseball players did get cheek and throat and
tongue cancer,
lung cancer. I mean cancer. And I remember taking care of this one woman who had it in her cheek, and they did a graft. And so I would have to go in and check the graft. And it was so odd because she was African American, and they did a graft from her thigh. And so her inside of her mouth was black, and so I would have to go in and flashlight to make sure it's not bleeding and everything. And it just got me that she wasn't pink in there. She was dark because that snuff had totally ate out her.
I remember when I was a kid, a lot of the older black women I can remember. My Aunt Willie had some friends down south, and many of them did snuff.
They did.
Those little cans of snuff.
Yeah.
They had the nerve to have different flavors. They had a couple of different
similar
flavors.
to what they did when we started vaping.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the nastiest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
Dipping snuff.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty. In the major leagues baseball, they don't allow it in the. I mean, they can't control what you do at home, but you certainly can't chew tobacco in the ballpark.
Yeah, why would they pay all the millions of dollars for you and you killing yourself?
They were doing it for years, though.
Yeah.
But it's funny to see the people though sneaking down in the hallway in the dugout to go back to smoke.
Oh.
Yeah, but they're actually down there smoking in that little.
Oh.
And somebody said they were surprised to
it's a
find out
stimulant.
that Pat Riley smoked.
He looks like he smokes.
Yeah, they said he smoked, and so they and then back in the old days in the NBA, dudes halftime they come in, have a cigarette, maybe a beer, and then go back out and play. We're not even talking about the dudes who was like Michael Ray Richardson.
You're still on camera, Keith.
No, but he was, it was, but yeah, it was. That world has changed. God, I've lived so long to go from. I can remember it being at a wrestling match at the arena, and you'd have this blue haze, from everybody smoking in the arena, the cigar smoke, and boy, it's not great for the athletes.
No.
Well, even bars, certainly when they outlawed it in bars,
Yes.
they felt it for a while before people started to come back out, and then they force you to go outside in the wintertime, and I mean it's okay in the summer.
But if you're a smoker, that's just
occupational.
It just goes along.
I get it, but I'm telling you,
dude, I'd be at the courthouse 12 below zero.
Slow down in the winter months, because when you got to go outside and it's sub-zero, you're not staying out there.
I ain't staying out there, but I'm going out there. I might not be out there long.
You're gonna go initially,
yeah.
You probably go 5 or 6 times more than you normally would, because you're not staying to finish that whole one.
A lot of occupations had problems because, like, at the hospital, if you work 12-hour shift, you couldn't smoke on the property. That means you couldn't smoke anywhere around there. And so you don't have time to get in your car and go somewhere and smoke. So a lot of people were complaining about that. And then, like, teachers, they can't smoke in their car. They can't smoke around the school. So we really put a lot of bans on smoking, and it's really healthier for people, because if you can not smoke at work.
Well, I recall we had a when I had my bar, I was president of an organization, and we had a meeting with one of the legislatures, and it just came down to it. I think it was Barack Obama at the time who stated if you wanted government dollars, then you had to put these smoking bans in place or you weren't going to receive the funding.
Which is crazy. 'Cause
Yeah,
he
and
was
that's what
smoking.
happened with
he was.
hospitals before Barack Obama, anyway, with Medicare guidelines and then the accrediting agencies. They're the ones that came in at the hospitals that you cannot allow smoking on your property. And so we didn't just as a healthcare organizations, we knew it was good, but the hammer came down that you
didn't
have to
embrace
do
it right
this.
away.
Now, here's what,
And so
I'm sorry. Here's
No.
what's real fascinating, though. As much as they tell you, when I go on that sidewalk, that's not St. Joseph's property. That's city property.
yes, but the issues are you're still on the clock. So
Okay, but but what I'm saying is,
but for
Oh,
somebody
I
else.
didn't. Oh,
Yeah.
You're not doing break
y'all-
time. You're
y'all
not
showed-
on the clock.
yeah, I mean,
So for
If
every
you're not at
you
lunchtime,
don't own that
you're
land
not.
in front of your house. I don't know if
That's
you live in the
if
city.
you yeah.
but
you're,
you get a 15-minute break.
It ends
right,
at your
but those-
property
you're
line,
still
ends
paid
right
for
where that
those.
sidewalk
Those are
is.
company paid breaks.
Even though we're still responsible for shoveling it
Yeah.
and
Right.
cutting the grass on it, that's city. So when you're out there, technically, you're on city property. You're not on St. Joseph's property. You're not on WNOV's property. That sidewalk belongs to the city. So a lot of people kind of figured it out. But one of the things that always fascinated me was the women I knew who smoked, who got pregnant, quit smoking
And
until
then
they dropped
started
the
back.
load. No, they
Yeah,
quit.
So some, but I know
They
some
dropped
that
as soon as they dropped the load.
They went right back.
They went back out.
What's the load, Keith?
the baby
the baby?
and
The
I've
infant.
never heard it referred to as the
Drop
load.
that load.
Drop that. I bet you it felt like a load off of her.
Yeah, it did.
How would you describe it? You ladies have
I mean, lung cancer is not hereditary, is it?
It's not hereditary, although there are always changes that most lung cancer is caused by outside influences.
chemicals. Yeah.
But we're starting to find a lot of cancers have small percentages of them have some basis in hereditary. Like if you're risk for cancer, you might be at risk for other cancers, not just
Okay, because I mean,
that one. So
I
a smaller
recall being
risk, but
asked, hey,
definitely an
did
increased
anybody
risk.
ever, you have family members that die from cancer in your family or whatever, then they
because cancer is
it would depend on
They're-
the type
they're-
of cancer.
yes,
like,
so
most
when
definitely
asking,
can-
they're not
colon
referring to a
rectal.
particular type,
Mhm.
just overall.
Right.
yes.
But they're pretty. Yeah, it's colon rectal. I know when
Is that
my
a cowboy shirt? I just noticed that, Keith. You see them stars?
Yeah.
It is not a cowboy shirt. It's gray and it's more of a holiday-ish winter kind of
Okay,
shirt.
Brenda, let's not get defensive.
Yeah.
There ain't no cowboy shirt.
That's right. Definitely not.
Are you? What's your team?
I'm a Packers fan.
What's taking you so long?
Yeah, she's
What's taking you so
somewhat
long?
uncertain.
What's taking
Did
you so
hear?
long?
No, I'm 100%.
Oh, okay.
And if the Packers aren't there, then I'm going to have to go with in Detroit because that's where I grew up. But
That's right.
but I'm,
Okay.
Packers first.
Don't like them either. Somebody said that they
No,
was a
but this-
Viking fan this morning.
Ugh.
That don't
But
make
did
much
you
that
watch
Michelle?
that
That was
game?
Michelle.
Did you watch that game the other night though? Detroit. I was like stunned. I turned it off because I thought, well, this is over.
Why go for two? Yeah. Well, they did.
And-
They won. Yeah, they came down to. Houston did nothing in the second half offensively.
No, that first half they just
were
ran
gangbusters,
all
yeah.
over Detroit.
Yeah.
But especially into the third quarter and fourth quarter was all Detroit.
It's all Detroit, man.
Because they were what, third? Was it 20,
I don't recall.
21 or 20, something like that, down to 3?
Yep. And they made a
And
comeback.
then they came back and just ran all over them.
Mm,
I hate Detroit.
mm.
Well, I don't hate Detroit. A good friend of mine, James Hunter,
Okay.
is in the Detroit Hall of Fame. He worked for Anheuser-Busch when I worked for the beer company. So we developed a good friendship. He, Ernie G, myself, we all worked in that trade. So good dude. He was. Him dead.
Yeah, what they got to do with Detroit?
Yeah, and he died. Too.
And I was just going to ask
Yeah.
you if he died.
Yeah, he died.
Yeah. Okay.
There we go.
Yeah,
with that.
because once you dead,
It's
you
okay.
dead.
It's almost time to get out of here.
I mean, I'm
Let's not
talking
start
about.
that.
folks is dying that never died before.
And
Yeah,
I'm talking
You know that.
about like dead, like dead. When I hear people saying that, oh, such and such came back from the dead. They weren't dead, and it could have been pretty close.
Yeah.
But if they come back, they weren't dead. You know,
You believe that?
Oh yeah, I believe that. People have talked about that they saw their grandmother in heaven, and okay, that's all. But
Just baby, come on back. It ain't your time.
I saw the light. They were headed toward the light, and they turned around and come back.
Yeah,
But that's their
that's their story. And who am I to say? But nobody's come back.
Just say I don't want to experience that. So
Experience what?
the light.
dying and coming back.
Yeah.
Some people see demons and come back and say, "Oh, I'm changing my life."
Some people see demons and don't change their lives. I mean, this is some folks. We had this idea like everybody has this come to Jesus / Muhammad moment. A whole lot of people don't. I mean, get run over by 4 cars and go back to what they know. And then other people, they have that Paul experience like, oh, maybe I'm going to need to take a look. But I guess you were asking me this question about philosophy. What I have learned is that we live in a fitty world. We can make this choice. We can make that choice. And in our world, it comes down to the choices that we make a lot of times. Now, some things we just don't control. You know, we don't control the weather. As much as people, I was talking to my buddy yesterday, we were talking about that, and he was saying, yeah, you can do all that. I said, well, you can say what you want to say, but when the hurricane comes, it can come. And you pray to the middle of next week. That hurricane's still coming because it's we don't control it.
Not a political thing.
It ain't political. No, it's weather. All right. Well, man.
So good to have you back.
Oh, man. It's so good to have you.
It's good to be back. Like I said, I did learn a lot.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Got us all up in here in the revolution because you
Fight.
And you know what else? What did Al say? They won't tell you, but I will. Let me thank Julia and Brenda. Thank you. Carmi, thank you. Debo, thank you. We thank everybody for being part of the program today. The good Lord willing, Creek Don't Rise. Hope to talk to everybody tomorrow. And as always, go from this place in peace.